My name is Karen Rais-Nordentoft, and I'm the festival director of the Aarhus Film Festival. I've also been the festival director of Nordisk Panorama 5 Cities Film Festival 3 times. That means that I primarily work with the selection of short films and documentaries, financing, organizing, and such stuff. A good short film is a short film that really uses the short format in an excellent way and to its limits. I think that the feature-length film is much more limited as to what you can do. For example, it's really rare that you see no dialogue feature-length films in the cinema. Feature-length films tend to be much more mainstream, and they need to stick to a mainstream narrative structure. In the short film format, you can do a lot more. You don't need to be so narrative. You can actually be non-narrative in your structure in your film. You can also play much more with the filmic devices. You can tease the audience. You can make the audience challenge themselves by looking into the cultural codes of the media in fresh ways. So that's what I really like about short filmmaking. An example of a short film that I really like, and if I limit myself to last year, where I was hitting the Nordisk Panorama and tried to say, okay, which film did I really appreciate there? Oh my God, a lot. It's really, really difficult to mention just one. But maybe I would just like to mention the Morten Nielsen film, Bird High Up. It's a Swedish film, and it's such a simple concept. It's so surprising, and it's very, very funny. I think that the Aarhus Short Film Challenge is an excellent excuse to challenge yourself as a filmmaker and to get together with all other enthusiastic short film makers. It doesn't matter so much sometimes what your film is about. So if you just get inspired from the subject matter which is launched and you stick to the limits, then you can use that as an obstruction for you to get inspired from, actually. And I think it's a great way to gather short filmmakers and enthusiasts. I look forward to see a lot of filmmakers gathering to exchange ideas and work together, and I look forward to see, of course, the results, the films that are being produced during the challenge. And I'm sure that there will be a great variety of experimental films, narrative films, and films in different languages, and silent films, and so on. And I would love to just see that variety. As a judge, I prefer works which are coherent, that they stick together and they stick to their premises, the premises that the film as a work sets out itself. So I think that's the most important thing, actually. There are no external rules that a film work as a work of art should answer to. Not at all. You have to find it within the work, within the concept. And if the elements work together and cast light on each other, bear each other, support each other, that's what is important. But they could also maybe fight each other, and you would have a complexity of devices or various tracks within the film. That would also be a quality, but then that would be part of the whole concept, and that would support the concept. I think that participants should take the challenge and go and make a film. You should take part in the challenge in order to take it as an opportunity to get inspired, because by limiting yourself in terms of production period and in terms of length of the final film and the subject, which is just an inspiration basically, then it creates a frame for you within which you can get inspired, and you are kind of excused in a way, and then you can set your artistic mind freer in a new way. And I also think that it's quite important then that you gather with the other filmmakers, and that your film is then finally seen together with all the other films. And I'm sure that the interaction of the films also in a program and at the final screening would also have an effect, and it will be important for you to compare, not in terms of which is the best necessarily and which is the worst, but in terms of it could have been done like that, and wow, that was also a good idea. So that's also, the inspiration doesn't end when you just turn on your camera. The inspiration continues after the short film challenge. Follow your heart, but not only your heart. Follow your artistic visions. Don't think in terms of rules. Make up the rules for yourself. Don't try to make a short version of a feature film, because they tend to be kind of boring to watch for other people, because they're not feature films anyway. And the last rule would be try to make the elements work together in an interesting and fresh way, because that's also a way to show yourself as somebody who has something at stake and who wants to develop her own film language, a personal touch to the film. And that's what is really important. Your personality as an artist to be reflected through the media. That's what is interesting.